All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive into the crypto world?
Always. There's never a dull moment, is there?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Especially with this week's mlion.ai Crypto News Weekly highlights. I mean, we've got everything.
Lexi, we've got security breaches.
Oh, yeah, some big moves in those crypto whales.
And even some insights from good old Jerome Powell himself.
Where should we even begin? Let's kick things off with that ZRX scope situation.
Oh, yeah, the Web3 knowledge graph protocol.
Right, but their X account got hacked, which, isn't exactly uncommon these days.
True, but what makes this one a bit more interesting is that, well, knowledge graph protocols are kind of the backbone of this whole decentralized world, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. They basically organize all the information floating around, making the blockchain a little less like the Wild West.
Exactly. This breach raises some serious questions, though, doesn't it?
About that.
About how secure Web3 really is. I mean, if something like ZeroX Scope can be compromised, what does that mean for, well, everyone else?
Definitely a wake-up call. Let's switch gears to some good news for a change. ZAILGO is doing this massive airdrop.
Oh, right, to like 8,000 plus wallets.
8,185 to be exact.
Wow, that's pretty big. It's more than just, tossing out free coins, wouldn't you say?
It feels strategic. Like, why now? What are they trying to achieve?
Maybe drum up excitement before a big product launch?
Oh.
Yeah. Or perhaps they're aiming to boost the liquidity of their token.
It's a classic play, for sure. But the scale of this one, I mean, it's definitely got people talking. Okay, let's talk about something completely different. BlackRock.
The Wall Street giant. What are they up to now?
Well, their activity with IBIT in the pre-market is through the roof.
They're really diving headfirst into the crypto pool. Makes you wonder if other big players are about to jump in, too.
It could be a game changer, couldn't it? I mean, think about the regulatory implications, maybe even new financial products specifically for crypto.
Oh, absolutely. The possibilities are pretty exciting.
Speaking of exciting, did you see Coinbase's stock price?
Oh, yeah, it's soaring. Seems like it's riding that wave of positive sentiment we're seeing in the broader market.
I wonder if this means we're seeing a real connection form between, like, traditional markets and crypto.
There's definitely a correlation, right? When those traditional markets are doing well, people feel a bit bolder, maybe more likely to dabble in crypto. But the real test will be what happens when things,
Take a downturn.
Exactly. Will that connection hold strong? Or will crypto go its own way?
Only time will tell. Okay, speaking of big moves, we got to talk about those whales. Grayscale just moved a mountain of Bitcoin.
And there's that ETH whale. What are they doing? Ramping up their short position.
Yep. What do you make of it all?
Honestly, trying to understand whales is like predicting the weather. You can look at the patterns, but you never know for sure.
So Grayscale, maybe it's just them managing their portfolio?
Could be. Or maybe they're reacting to some new regulation we haven't heard about yet. And the ETH whale.
Yeah, what's with the short selling?
It might be a bearish signal, sure, but it could also be a hedge against something else entirely.
It's a reminder that those whales play a different game,
Oh, for sure.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. What do you make of Fed Chair Powell's optimistic outlook for 2025?
When the Fed chair is feeling good about the economy, everyone tends to perk up a bit, right?
Sure. A rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. But does that apply to crypto?
I think so. Positive sentiment can create a really fertile ground for riskier assets. But it's not the only factor, of course.
Right. You've always got to look at what's happening within the crypto market itself and what's going on with technology.
Don't forget regulations. They have a huge impact.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of positive developments, Bitcoin just smashed through that $98,000 ceiling. Pretty significant, wouldn't you say?
It's a psychological barrier for sure. And when those crumble, it often attracts new investors,
The fear of missing out.
Exactly. The question is whether this is like true belief in Bitcoin's potential or just a temporary surge.
Time will tell. Now for something a little different.
What's that?
Kango. They're usually in the automotive financing business.
Right, I've heard of them. What are they up to?
Well, get this. They're jumping into Bitcoin mining.
Wow, that's a bold move. It's a whole different ballgame, though. Mining is energy intensive, not to mention the whole environmental debate.
And the competition is fierce.
Oh, absolutely. They'll have to be really smart about it.
Well, we'll certainly be watching to see how that unfolds. Now, last but not least, we've got DeSci project VITA hitting an all-time high.
That's exciting. DeSci is really starting to gain traction. You know what DeSci is, right?
I do, but for those who don't.
It's basically using blockchain to shake up scientific research. Imagine a world where funding is democratized, Data is shared freely.
And breakthroughs happen faster.
Exactly. VITA's success shows that investors are really starting to see DeSci's potential, which is huge.
And on that note, we've
Yeah.
reached the end of another deep dive.
Wow, that went by fast.
I know, right? I mean, we talked about everything. Security breaches, whales making waves, traditional finance dipping its toes in, and even the rise of DeSci.
It's mind-boggling how much is happening in this space.
And that brings me to my final thought for all of you. With all this going on, what excites you most about the future of crypto and Web3? Think about it, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.